What is going on YouTube? Hayden here, and in today's episode, we are going to be looking at XRP, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Vong, which is the Russell 1000, and the S&P 500. So as you guys can see, we're seeing a bit of consolidation today. Something like the S&P 500 is starting to correct downwards here. Same thing with Vong. Bitcoin is heading a bit lower here. Rejection off price ceiling. This moving average is certainly something that we're going to have to discuss a little bit later in today's episode. And a lot of these other cryptocurrencies are also following suit, starting to head lower. Yesterday was a big day for us. We really needed to break through major resistance, the major price ceiling right up here. And unfortunately, we didn't do that. We actually rejected off of this, and you can see something like XRP. We were looking for closure above moving average. We thought there was a slight chance, but that's not actually what happened. We broke through it, we retested it, rejected it, and are starting to consolidate lower. XRP heading down as well. You could see Ethereum heading down, Bitcoin heading down, even Vong and the S&P 500 all are starting to correct lower. So this is unfortunate news. It's not the worst news, but we are starting to see this correction nonetheless here. So we aren't doing too bad because we're still inside ascending fractals, our technical indicators, which ultimately should lead us to the upside. Only some cryptos or some commodities like the stock market, Vong, are in ascending fractals here. But some of these other ones like XRP, Solana, Ethereum, regardless, they are all well within technical indicators, and seeing small rejection, as annoying as it is to reject off that, even with us pulling just a hair lower, it's still not all that bad, because ultimately I would suspect us to see a bit of consolidation, and then we should be following it up with some rallies to the upside here. But with all that being said, definitely make sure to smash the like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and let's get right into today's episode. So guys, as you can see, yesterday I made an episode talking about how I kind of know what's next for XRP. More so, I suspect us to see quite a nice rebound to the upside here for most of the major blue chip cryptocurrencies, because we kind of bottomed off. We came off of a major correction here. I'm talking several days of kind of bear market here. I mean, if we look at XRP, for example, here, we started back on October 6th. It's currently October 22nd. But for literally like 2 weeks, we were just falling to the downside. And finally, did we start to get the recovery that we need to head back to the upside. We broke through major resistance. So even though we're starting to see a bit of correction right now, just a hair to the downside here, we still managed to break through price ceiling, and that to me says we are going to inevitably head to the upside here. We don't just moonblast break out to the upside. It doesn't happen all that often here. There's typically a bit of consolidation where prices do kind of go up and down, but inevitably head us to the direction that we want. And that's what I think is going to happen to most of these major cryptocurrencies. But when we start to look at the other ones, the fact that they've rejected off moving average certainly is something that's going to have to be explored a little bit deeper in a second. You can see, looking at the current coin market cap, 29 on the Fear and Greed Index, another telltale sign that there is plenty of room to head to the upside. It's just a matter of when are we going to do that, because at this moment, we've pretty much just continued to correct to the downside, lower and lower and lower and lower. The small little area of volatility or volume that we got that caused prices to move up over the past, I'd say, day or two has now been liquidated, and we are now starting to correct right back down to pretty much where we started from. Now, nothing is, shocking. There's no major bear market correction, consolidative pattern that's taking place right now. There's still plenty of, consolidation left and plenty of room to head higher, but ultimately we are still in a consolidative pattern. So starting off with what is XRP here, you can see that we are tracking a major bull flag or major descending fractal, whatever you want to call it here. Lots of you guys are commenting this. We have this flag pull up, followed by lower high, lower low patterns, continuing to head to the downside here. Ultimately, recently, we were on this downtrend, clearly mapped out here. If I jump to the 4-hour, you can see it'll be much easier to depict here. And you can see how, for the most part, we are in a downtrend. We are ultimately heading lower and rejecting off this major resistance. Well, we pulled all the way down to price floor and pretty much became oversold, and we managed to close above it, and we are starting to see the rally to the upside here. We are starting to see a run upwards here. And that's good news if you ask me, because we are so undervalued, not only near oversold, but well below this moving average, that to me it says, hey, we have plenty of room now and potential to head to the upside. And I would likely expect us to slowly come back up to the upside here. Now, some of these other cryptocurrencies I think are affecting the current correction that we're seeing right now. And even then, I do think we're going to head up to here. Maybe it's not going to be a straight, upwards trajectory bullish rally, but ultimately I do suspect that either we're going to consolidate out, slowly move up, maybe we head a little down, but inevitably the goal is to head to the upside here one way or another, because I do think we have plenty of room and volatility and time to be buying in with kind of a bullish trajectory. I think ultimately everything is pointing towards an upwards trend. Even something like XRP, I strongly believe we're going to see a rebound as such to the upside here. So keep your eyes peeled on this, because I do believe even if you bought in, a day or two ago, or you plan on buying in the future, I do think we are going to be still moving upwards here. Maybe we're at $2.40 now, and maybe we don't hit 280, but maybe we hit 262. It's still ultimately easy profit, especially if you're leveraging crypto. Even if we moved up to here, 264, it's still a 10% rally, a 10% gain. And again, that's not even discussing the fact that once we complete this, once we come to contact with this yellow resistance here, I strongly believe we're going to break through and continue on upwards, which would be insane, but that's truly what I suspect to see take place. Now, obviously, we do all these trades on BYDFI, the #1 cryptocurrency leveraging exchange that I like to use here on the channel. They even have a reward center here where you guys can take advantage of some free bonus cryptocurrency they're giving away. It's their new promo for this month. It ends October 31st, but basically, by clicking the link down in the description below, traders and whale traders can earn up to $2,000 in free bonus cryptocurrency just by depositing. It doesn't get any easier than that. So definitely make sure to check it out with all the rules and description down in the comment section below, or sorry, in the description below. You can click that. It will tell you all the rules and everything to follow in order to receive that. Lots of you guys have already, so it's pretty simple. I mean, if anyone else wanted to take advantage of it, that's there. But moving forward from that onto these other cryptos here. So we talked about the fact that we are in a bull flag formation here on XRP. Then we start to unravel these other cryptos. So things start to make a little more sense as to why we're seeing a bit of correction. XRP fell, and it fell really hard. Other cryptos, not so much. You could see Solana is also forming a descending fractal, a lower high, lower low pattern here. And you can see we came into contact with this moving average here just yesterday, actually. We were looking for a breakout, but we knew there was a chance it wouldn't happen. Now, jumping to the 4-hour, things also start to become a bit more clear. Look at this. There's a possible downtrend scenario forming on here that could send us lower. Certainly an opportunity, certainly a possibility here. And ultimately what this means is we need to get above it. You can see this could cause us to correct even lower before we ultimately break out and see a swing to the moving average here. So not only do we have the moving average, we also have a downtrend to roll out. And eventually, I would suspect us to head up to that target level. Maybe it's not here. Like maybe we stretch it a bit further. Maybe we don't hit 207. Maybe we hit, 197. But somewhere ultimately, we're going to be retesting that. And then again, that's only an interim trading. That's only like inside trading, intra-trading. What we're looking for is ultimately closing above yellow band and then expecting to see a bullish rally to the upside. That's what I would likely suspect to see take place here. And that's what we're ultimately waiting for. But aside from that as well, we then have Ethereum here, which you can see is caught up in its moving average. This gives us plenty of potential here that if we decide to trade out, we could ultimately trade up and break out from it. We're using it as a crutch and as a support that could ultimately swing us to the upside. So that's exciting news. Bitcoin looks great as well. You can see we're consolidating downwards here inside an ascending broadening wedge. We unfortunately rejected off moving average yesterday, but it still doesn't mean we can't head up. I think we're going to see a bit of consolidation, a bit more, followed by some more bullish movements to the upside. That's my theory. That's where I suspect us to see some more movements to. So even though we're consolidating right now, even though we're seeing a bit of correction, which we could see in the next couple of days, we ultimately are still inside bullish technical indicators that will inevitably break us higher, move us higher up. So I'm really not worried at all. Vong looks really good. Again, hitting support. So the likelihood that we fall through here is very slim. Certainly a possibility, but very slim. Or we could continue to rise up. And if we do continue to rise up on the S&P and on Vong, then I ultimately suspect that cryptos would do the same. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Definitely smash that like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Peace.